So now I ask for the final comments of the day. I ask Eero and Edita on the stage here with me. We don't have seats. We're just going to stand here. And perhaps, yeah. And we're not going to make it long. We just want to sort of lay down the day, the active day of discussions and so forth, with perhaps an impression of of what we have learned today, or what struck you and in the sessions that you've been in and the discussions you had in the corridor. I thought it was would be interesting to hear, also because I think, Eero, you're also leaving us tonight or tomorrow morning. So it would be interesting to hear some of your impressions both. So shall I start with?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay.
Like hierarchy in the commission.
Okay.
Okay,
well,
thank you. No,
gender trumps hierarchy.
Okay. So thanks everyone, because I really enjoyed the day, and I always say that I like those forums and other events for two reasons. Well, for many reasons, but for two in particular. One is it gives me food and motivation and let's say really passion for the work which I'm doing, because every time when I come to these events, I meet people from islands. I feel that I'm doing something which is worth doing, which has a meaning. And when I see people so motivated, devoted for their work, doing things in not always easy circumstances, I mean, I'm really happy that we can have those initiatives, that we can support, and this gives me also arguments to talk to someone we need to talk to, have funding, financing to continue it, and also to show that actually energy transition is happening already. We don't only talk about it. It actually happens. It gives results. The results are enjoyed by people of the island. They speak about it, and they speak much more and much louder than any one of us who kind of do it from the distance. The other reason is, and this may not be obvious to you, but this is very important for us, because this is the way also when we come here, we are more in a listening mode, and it's deliberate so, because we want to hear what is important for you, how you see the transition ongoing on the islands, what are the challenges, what are the success stories, what you would need to be done differently, and then we try to, whatever we can, we try to bring it back to the policy making and decisions in the European Commission. And of course, the other part of the work, which is not seen by you, but we are doing this every day, because we need to give contributions to different legal acts, to different decisions. We kind of give examples to our hierarchy who is talking and doing the promotion of the clean energy. And we are happy when we can make a way into the decisions. I just give you one example. Very recently, we had the guidance on the storage coming out from the DG Energy, which was telling very different recommendations and suggestions how the storage needs to be incorporated in the systems. And I'm very happy, because based on the work we have done with the islands, both through different forums and discussions, but also in the regulatory study, we have a specific paragraph which speaks about the energy storage in the island and isolated systems, and specifically about the changing of the criteria for the storage to be incorporated in the grids. So yeah, do your work, speak to each other, but also speak to us, because this is the only way, in many cases, how we can learn about it, being not island countries and living usually in Brussels, not an island country. So I stop it there, and probably, we will still talk in the corridors, and I'm happy to listen. My ears are for you.
Thank you very much, Edita. And indeed, I want to echo that last point. And it's not something which is always very public and so forth, but many times we can, through our network, through the contacts we have, the experiences, the technical assistance, we can feed into the work of the European Commission, and I think that's important, this connection between the European dynamics and the dynamics on the ground. And also as a secretariat, we try to play a role, and we're always very happy if we get these questions, and happy to support. I turn to Eero for your impression.
Yes, very thoroughly thought through. I really don't know what I'm going to say now, but apart from thank you, I mean that's probably what I should say first, because it's been really very inspiring for me. And this is not to flatter anybody, but I think that what makes special the Island Forum, and I'm actually comparing this with some other local initiatives that I'm involved in. I'm involved in at least 5. Usually dealing with cities, but also other areas, specific thematic areas like energy poverty and so on. So there's quite a special vibe here somehow. I don't know what it is. Is it maybe because island communities are smaller? Could it be there's something about it that I know that it's just like a couple of degrees more concrete what we are discussing here. Like here with the friends from Pantelleria, we were discussing how the birds directive is affecting, the windmill installation on Sicily, for example, and of course in Pantelleria, and we were discussing the biodiversity aspects, which is something that is of course part of the EU Green Deal, and we try to make the connection in our everyday life, but now that we had a session on this, so it's good we start talking, what is it to put the grids underground or overground, what's the impact, and things of like aesthetics, which gave me then a possibility to talk about the new European Bauhaus, which is one of these initiatives which is more looking at that part, like livability. And really livability, what Pia was showing us, this new tool that Åbo Academy in Finland has created for assessing really the sort of like the habitability of the island communities. So that's the kind of thing that also made me think that, well, I mean, this is what we would need actually, something a bit more like a scientific approach to seeing what makes people accept some transitions and protest against others. But doing it not like a typical scientific approach, which is also very important, of course. Don't want to insult any scientist here in the room, but to have this kind of what I would call people science, in the sense that you go and talk to people and ask directly, because there you get really unfiltered, real opinions of things. And that's been also in the other session, it came through when we're discussing Scottish Highlands and so on. So really what people say, because that's the kind of thing which is super important feedback for us. I mean, Edita, you were saying the same thing. It's like reality checking, that that we are not working some kind of like ivory tower concept, and then also getting the ideas, because we are always asked for ideas, and we are who are in the working level in the Commission, so we have to sort of always develop ideas for our higher placed persons who go and talk in public fora, and sometimes it's a bit stressful because you are trying to remember, give me some good examples on whatever, wave energy, where have they done that, or what did they do in Estonia or in Portugal, and then you're thinking, oh, let me think, so there you need these concrete examples, and that's what I hear here. But it's also the good thing that I know that I will be leaving then with some business cards, and there are questions behind there, and then okay, I will go and talk to my legal advice expert back in Brussels to ask a couple of questions for Mallorca and so on. So it kind of pushes us, Edita, I'm sure it applies to you, to sort of go out of our own like daily business and then start thinking, well, this what we are doing here, it's actually affecting something else. We never thought about that, but because there's a question, I'm going to find out, and next time I know actually. And that's this, like, because things are integrated, they kind of connect to everything. So it's important. And then cooperatives were mentioned, and we've been pushing very much to this, like local energy communities, renewable energy communities, because we felt that, okay, this is a smart thing, not just like from energy security point of view, like I said in the beginning of the day, but also from energy poverty alleviation, for instance. So you push down the price of of less commercial energy, actually. So you address a social issue, which is big and much bigger now because of the energy crisis we've just gone through, and which is I'm afraid might not be over. We have to see the situation next winter again. But so, I mean, there we go. Scattered thoughts, but it's great fun to be here, and greatly useful as well. So, big thank you.
Yeah. And thanks from our side to be here. And contrary to the saying, what happens in Estonia doesn't need to stay in Estonia. we can take it with us. And I especially like also the point you stressed about the practical. And there's a vibe indeed of the concrete and making things work in the island context. And that's something tomorrow we will be very much talking about. It's the launch of the call for technical assistance is we'll have plenty of examples, and we're going to get really practical. And I think that's the important message going forward. Also, in the next years of the secretariat, I think we should keep that practicality of making things happen and. Coming together is a brilliant way to be inspired, to exchange, to have the network, the contacts, and so forth. But then, going back and making it happen, I think it's the thing that is ahead of us.